So what if I told you that nothing magical happens to the human body at 65? No switch flips. No expiration date appears. No biological rule suddenly says, time to shut down. And yet, millions of people wake up after that age believing their best years are already behind them. Not because their bodies failed, but because someone taught them to expect failure. The truth is quieter and far more hopeful. Your heart is still capable of beating billions more times. Your brain is still capable of growing, adapting, and learning. Your muscles are still capable of rebuilding strength, often faster than you've been led to believe. So what most people call aging is often something else entirely. It's the result of habits that slowly tell the body to stop investing in itself. And here's the most fascinating part. Every single morning, your body wakes up waiting for instructions. So the first hour after you open your eyes decides whether your cells move toward repair or toward breakdown. Today, we're going to explore how simple morning choices, grounded in real biology, can quietly extend not just lifespan, but clarity, strength, and independence well beyond 65. Stay with me, because one of these habits activates a cellular repair process so powerful that scientists once believed it was impossible to influence without medication. Seniors often arrive at a quiet question sometime after their 65th birthday. It does not usually come all at once. It appears slowly, in small moments, while standing up a little more carefully than before, while noticing how the world seems louder, faster, less patient. The question is simple but heavy. Is this the beginning of the end? Society subtly suggests it is. Retirement cards, medical labels, and cultural jokes all whisper the same idea. It's that the body has entered a slow decline phase, and the best years are behind you. Yet when we step away from those assumptions and look closely at biology, a very different story emerges, one that is both humbling and hopeful. The human body was never designed with an expiration date stamped at 65. From an evolutionary and cellular standpoint, that number is arbitrary. It exists mostly for social systems, not biological ones. Inside your chest, your heart is not counting birthdays. It is counting beats, and most hearts are built to beat billions of times. Inside your skull, your brain is not fading by default. It remains remarkably adaptable, capable of forming new connections, reorganizing old ones, and responding to stimulation well into advanced age. Even muscle tissue, often assumed to be fragile and doomed after a certain point, retains the capacity to grow stronger when it receives the right signals. What limits most people is not an internal clock that suddenly runs out. It is a quiet change in behavior, a subtle message that says, slow down, don't try, it's too late. The body listens closely to what we repeatedly tell it. Over time, habits become instructions and instructions become biology. When movement decreases, the nervous system downshifts. When curiosity fades, neural pathways weaken. When mornings begin with stress and neglect, the body interprets the day as a threat rather than an opportunity to repair. One of the most fascinating discoveries in modern health science is how profoundly the first hour of the day shapes everything that follows. When you wake up, your body is emerging from a long overnight fast, a period when repair processes have been active and energy stores are low. Hormones are shifting. Blood chemistry is changing. The nervous system is highly sensitive. In this window, small actions have outsized effects. The body is, in a sense, waiting for direction. It is asking a question without words. Should I prepare to defend myself, or should I begin to rebuild? Many people unknowingly answer that question with habits that signal danger: rushing, skipping hydration, sitting still, flooding the mind with worry or screens. From a physiological perspective, these cues activate stress pathways. Cortisol rises when it should gently fall. Blood vessels tighten. Inflammation quietly increases. None of this happens dramatically. It happens gradually, invisibly, day after day, until fatigue, stiffness, and illness feel inevitable. But the opposite is also true. When mornings begin with signals of safety and intention, the body responds differently. Blood flows more easily. Muscles receive nutrients more efficiently. Brain chemistry shifts toward clarity and calm. Repair mechanisms remain active longer into the day. This is not wishful thinking. It is observable biology. Consider hydration. During sleep, the body loses water through respiration and perspiration. By morning, blood volume is slightly reduced, and circulation becomes less efficient. This means the heart must work harder to deliver oxygen, and the brain may receive less than it needs. The sensation of morning dizziness or mental fog is often not a sign of aging but of dehydration. When you drink water shortly after waking, especially before stimulants or food, you restore blood volume, reduce strain on the cardiovascular system, and support kidney functions. This simple act improves circulation, cognition, and energy not because water is magical, but because the body is exquisitely dependent on fluid balance. The temperature of that water matters less than the habit itself, but gentler inputs are often easier for the system to absorb quickly. Plain water moves efficiently through the digestive tract and into the bloodstream. When hydration improves, every organ benefits. Waste products are cleared more effectively. The brain maintains its volume and function. Even tissues that seem unrelated, like joints and connective structures, rely on adequate hydration to maintain resilience. Once the body is hydrated, it becomes more receptive to the next signal light. Human beings evolved under the rhythm of the sun, and our biology still responds to it with remarkable precision. Specialized cells in the eyes detect light not for vision, but for timing. When morning light reaches these cells, it sends a message to the brain's internal clock, aligning hormonal release with the external world. Melatonin, the hormone of sleep, begins to recede. Cortisol rises gently, providing alertness without panic. Serotonin increases, stabilizing mood. This process does more than regulate sleep. It synchronizes metabolism, immune function, and cognitive performance. When this rhythm is disrupted, by dim indoor lighting or delayed exposure, the body drifts out of sync. Sleep becomes fragmented. Energy crashes occur at odd hours. Over time, this misalignment contributes to inflammation and neurodegeneration. Morning light, especially natural daylight, acts as a daily reset, anchoring the body to a rhythm it understands deeply. As the morning unfolds, nourishment becomes the next instruction. After hours without food, the body is primed to use nutrients efficiently. Protein, in particular, plays a critical role here. Muscle tissue is not merely about strength or appearance. It is a metabolic organ, deeply involved in glucose regulation, balance, and resilience. With age, the body becomes less sensitive to the signals that stimulate muscle repair. This does not mean repair stops. It means the signal must be clearer. Providing adequate protein earlier in the day sends that signal. Amino acids become available precisely when the body is most receptive to rebuilding. This supports not only muscle mass, but bone integrity and immune function. When protein intake is delayed or insufficient, the body compensates by breaking down its own tissues. This process is subtle, but over years it leads to weakness and instability. Supporting muscle early in the day is not about excess. It is about timing and respect for how physiology actually works. Movement further amplifies this signal. Contrary to common belief, the nervous system plays a central role in physical stability. Balance is not a passive trait. It is an active conversation between the brain, the inner ear, the eyes, and the muscles. Each step you take requires continuous adjustment. When balance is not challenged regularly, these communication pathways weaken. The brain allocates resources elsewhere, assuming the skill is no longer needed. Simple balance exercises, performed briefly and safely, reawaken these pathways. Standing on one leg may appear trivial, but neurologically it is demanding. It requires the brain to integrate sensory information and send rapid corrective signals. Over time, this practice strengthens neural circuits associated with coordination and spatial awareness. These same circuits overlap with regions involved in memory and attention. By training balance, you are not only reducing the risk of falls, you are stimulating brain plasticity. Perhaps the most underestimated influence on aging, however, is breathing. Breathing is unique in that it operates automatically, yet can be consciously controlled. This makes it a direct bridge between the nervous system and the mind. Many people breathe shallowly, especially under chronic stress. This pattern limits oxygen exchange and keeps the body in a low-level state of alert. Over years, it contributes to hypertension, inflammation, and fatigue. Slow, deliberate breathing patterns activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the branch responsible for repair, digestion, and recovery. Extending the exhale in particular sends a signal of safety. Heart rate slows. Blood pressure decreases. Inflammatory signaling diminishes. At the cellular level, improved oxygen delivery supports mitochondrial function, the process by which cells generate energy. When energy production becomes more efficient, tissues age more slowly. These effects are not abstract. They can be measured in heart rate variability, a marker of nervous system flexibility strongly associated with longevity. They appear in improved circulation, sharper cognition, and steadier emotional states. Over time, consistent breathing practices influence gene expression related to stress resistance and cellular maintenance. This is not because breathing is mystical, but because it directly modulates the systems that govern survival. What is most powerful is how these elements interact. Hydration improves circulation, making oxygen delivery more efficient. Light synchronizes hormonal rhythms, enhancing metabolic response to food. Protein provides the raw materials for repair. Balance challenges stimulate neural growth. Breathing sets the emotional and physiological tone that allows all other systems to function optimally. None of these habits work in isolation. They form a conversation with the body, repeated each morning. Aging, then, is not simply a process of loss. It is a dialogue between biology and behavior. The body is constantly adapting to the environment it perceives. When that environment includes movement, nourishment, light, and calm, the adaptations are constructive. When it includes neglect, stress, and stagnation, the adaptations are protective but costly. There is something deeply compassionate about this perspective. It removes blame and replaces it with understanding. Decline is not a personal failure. It is often the predictable outcome of signals the body has received for years. And signals can change. Not dramatically, not perfectly, but gently and consistently. You do not need to overhaul your life. The body responds to small, repeated inputs: a glass of water, a few minutes of daylight, a nourishing breakfast, some moment of balance, a handful of slow breaths. These are not heroic acts. They are quiet conversations with your physiology, saying, I am still here. I still care. We are still building. Aging is not a sudden event. It's a conversation your body has with you every single day. It listens to how you breathe. It notices whether you move. It responds to light, nourishment, and calm. And it quietly adjusts its expectations based on the signals you send. You don't need perfection. You don't need extreme routines. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to send your body one clear message tomorrow morning. We are still building. Start with one habit. Add another when it feels natural. Within weeks, your body begins to respond, not dramatically but deeply. And one day, you'll realize something important. You're not trying to fight aging. You're learning how to age with strength, clarity, and dignity. If this video gave you insight, reassurance, or hope, please tap the like button. It helps this message reach others who need it. Subscribe to the channel for more science-based guidance on healthy aging and longevity. And turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos designed to help you stay independent, sharp, and strong. I'd also love to hear from you. Leave a comment telling me your age and where you're watching from. We read every single one. Your future self is shaped by the next morning, not the last decade. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.